Okay, I think we're good. Let me just make sure that I've got audio. So just a minute here. That 30-second goes faster than I anticipated. Yep, we're good to go. So that is live. I have to do these audio checks. So I want to start the Twitter space and some other stuff. So give me just a moment. Okay. So give me just a moment. We'll get this all set up and we'll be good to go. Very excited. Ethereum is moving. Yes. Okay, let me get the invite link. So copy that, posting it to Twitter. Okay, that is good. Now let's start up the Twitter space. There's no streamlined way to do this. So, every video is just going to be like this, but yeah, so we'll do, so market analysis. ETH, BTC, crypto. Cool. I think we're going. Awesome. So let me just do something real quick. Get these links out, pin it up, pin this in the Twitter space. All right, the Twitter space is up and going, and we have our pinned tweet, I believe. Let me just make sure because it should be up there. There it is. We got our pinned tweet. We got the link here, so let me get the link shared out. So copy link address, and we'll post it in the Telegram. Here we are. And I'll get this one here. All right. We're good. We are good. So now let's do the trading view. Hi, kitten. My poor cat, I just did some first aid on it because it it is having something going on, and it got like bit by something. Has some puncture marks. Poor little kitten. Oh well. It's all good. Ethereum is moving. Bitcoin is moving. The market is moving. Oh, yes. I love this. This is fantastic. And you guys are really going to appreciate this because we had this level. And I may have bought in a little bit more on my trade. So let's go to the StreamYard. Let's share screens here, and let's do Ethereum right here. You can see it. We're live, and it's beautiful. Let's see. And audio is good. All right, I'm just going to add myself down here in the bottom. All right, look at this. Look at Ethereum. Just pumping. We are pumping. Yes, this is great. So if you're on Twitter and you want to watch this live, you can click the links. We have StreamYard, which allows you to come in and talk and ask questions and interact. Of course, on YouTube, you can comment, and I would love to see you over there as well. And right now, or you can just listen on Twitter. But right now, Ethereum is pumping, and I want to show what we've been looking at. So let's go to the daily chart. This is so cool. This is so cool. And let's show this weekly level that we had mapped out. Boom. Look at that reaction. I don't know if you are aware, but we had this weekly level. It's been on here for 2 weeks now. Let me get Oryx up here. All right, we got Oryx up on Twitter. At least we should have him there. But 2710. 2710. Look at this level. Oh, hold on. Let me turn the magnet off. Let me get my different, yeah, okay. Hold on. Let me do this, the arrow. Yes. Boom. 2710. Make that more clean. 2710. What was the low? So we had the level of 2710 as a weekly level that was supposed to give us a good reaction. And by the way, did we get a good reaction? Let's see. We got so far a 10% move, about a 10% move, which is pretty good, pretty incredible. So yeah, I would say that we called that very well. Obviously, look, we have different levels. We have the daily levels, we have weekly levels, we have monthly levels, right? We have our parallel channel that we've been looking at, okay? So yeah, this is my prediction. That didn't go well, by the way. I was thinking we were consolidating under this and we were going to move up. That didn't happen, right? It was the most probable scenario and it didn't work. So that's okay. Let's look. So, all right, perfect. This is our volume weighted average price, our VWAP, and it is pegged to the year. And look at where we're getting resistance, right there, literally within a couple dollars. So we're sitting here. Let me get my little cursor out. Okay. So 29.63, and so far we pumped up to 29.65. So that's really funny that we're getting resistance. This is the VWAP. It would make sense to get some resistance here. A lot of people are trading this. This, like, the VWAP is an easy thing to trade, because, oh, by the way, I see Jonah's World. Thanks for being in here. We need to connect. So Jonah's World, we had an agreement. I was going to be sending the taxes over for the BSC launch, and we had an issue with tax collection. So nothing was collected for a little while. So we've since got it sorted out. So we need to connect and have a conversation, because yeah, we want to make a donation over to you guys. So anyway, just a side note there. But anyway, so taking a look here, the VWAP is giving us our first level of resistance. Doesn't mean it's going to sustain. Doesn't mean that we're going to go down from here, right? We could, but let's map this out. I want to see this parallel channel. All right, let's get the magnet on here. Okay, cool and cool. So this is a channel that we've been in for a little bit, a downward trend. Let me turn the VWAP off. And you know, we're within this, so it would make sense to get some resistance around 3,000. It's a big move that we've made, 10%, but it was really fast. I'm loving what I'm seeing here, and you know, I kind of let's see, the Oryx. Oh, you're in here, but that's okay. If you want to talk, you can add a mic. I'd love to bring you on, but it's up to you. Oh, here we go.
Hear me okay?
There we go. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, very well, thank you. I've missed the last couple of days of the lesson, so I'm liking this this late night evening special. Well, it's 8 p.m., but probably not so late where you are.
It's 1 o'clock here, just after. But yeah, well, good. I'm glad that you're here, buddy. I mean, it's fun. The market is moving, and you know, we've been
Yeah.
looking for some support around here. And this level that we had right here, this 27.10, we called it within $2.85. Now that is precision.
Yeah, beautiful work, man. Is there any indicators today that of where this is going next, or can this be sustainable?
Definitely could be sustainable. I am so if this is a bottom, and it looks like we're putting in a bottom here, let me remove this. Then this is a confirmation of a change in market structure for me. So what we want to see is we want to see 3 points of where we change it from a higher low to a higher high and then another higher low. That's confirmation of an uptrend and a change in market direction, or market structure. So right here we came down. We've been trending down since November, and we came down here, and this is the daily chart. So each one of these candles represents a day, and then it's just been this sideways movement. But technically, we put in a higher low right here. I wouldn't categorize this as a higher high, just because I would probably be looking at this range. I wouldn't necessarily be looking at here, but I suppose you could. But for me, I'm looking at this as our first major higher low. Now we have another higher low and a higher high. Let me put this in here. Oops.
What indicators do you look at to establish that it's actually a higher low or a strong high low?
Yeah, so this, as far as this, it's just horizontals. So this was our previous low, so we didn't go past it, right? So it's a higher low relative to the last significant low. And so then same thing here, this was our last low. So if this is in fact our low, like we start to move up from here and trend upwards, then this would be a higher low relative to the last low. Same with the highs. So this is higher than this one, and it's just in relation to that. So what we're looking for is just a change in the market structure. If we continue to see higher highs and higher lows, then this would be an upward trend.
Is there any indicators of things like volume that show that they're strong enough to be definitely considered a higher low rather than just almost random movement?
So you can look at volume. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull up my EXO charts, and I'll share this screen just a second. Okay, oops, share screen. All right, so now we're looking at the EXO charts. So let me pull up, whoa, sorry. Let's back up a little bit.
So
Let's
for an amateur user, that already looks quite tasty to me.
This one right here?
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. Yeah, I really like this. So here we go. Let's put on rec, we'll put on volume, open interest. Okay, so there's a couple things that we can look at. So, all right, let me change these settings, and we'll do session. Okay, and let me change this setting right here. This will help us as well. Okay. All right. So what we're seeing is, actually, I want to change our candles real quick. This is what I want. Accept. All right. And let's move from the daily to the 12-hour. We'll be able to see how many people are getting wrecked. Okay, so this is pretty significant. What we are looking for, see this green bubble? These are people that got absolutely wrecked on their shorts. So they put in a short. They said, "Yeah, I believe the market's going low," and they just got wrecked. They got absolutely annihilated. So we also want to look at the volume. So down here we have like these green. So this top layer, these are net longs. So these are longs that have been opened. So we had 11 million in this candle, and we had 4 million in this candle. We can see volume is increasing relative to where it's been. So like if we're looking here, we can go back. It's been quite a while since we've had any type of volume like this. So here we had 7.3 million, 4.7 million. But yeah, so someone came in, or a few people came in, and they started buying in, or maybe a bunch of people, right? Started buying in, and they put in $11 million on this candle, and we shot up. And then we had another 4 million come in and follow suit. We also see 16 million shorts got closed. They closed out, and in here we have 3 million shorts closed out. Okay, and now we can look at open interest. So this is when we're looking at open interest, we kind of came down in a trough, and we had a big reversal, right? So open interest, this is people finding a good value, right? The people that are looking at limit orders, looking at market orders. We're seeing that the interest is picking up. The volume is picking up. We still don't have significant volume. Like, let's see, let's find where we moved. All right, so this is a pretty good move. I would want to see more volume than where we're at right now. But what we've seen is a pretty substantial amount of buys that have come in. So
I don't know if this is sort of rumors a lot of the time, but occasionally you'll hear that almost in the meta, there's sort of whale wars. Is there a possibility that this amount of liquidity was injected into it to ensure those people on their shorts would fail?
So there is a possibility, right? So there is a possibility because we see that this gray area, let me put on, so this gray area means that there's not a lot of volume being traded up in here, right? So there's some good liquidations that are happening, but there's not a lot of volume. I would really like to see this kind of fill in and get more volume traded up in this gray area. So far, 70% of the volume, or I think 68% of the volume, has been traded in this colored area. So if I kind of zoom in, let's do 50 ticks. I don't know why I've got it set this way. So let's do 50. Okay, there we go. So we can see these numbers a little easier. But this is where the majority came in. So at this point of control down here, 2840 roughly, we had 16 million shorts taken out, and we had 7 million longs come in, and that's a lot. I want to see something. Yeah, so this is indicative of a whale getting a position filled. Okay, so you had, look at how much volume was traded here compared. So let me put this on like
Yeah, it kind of seems coincidental sometimes that so much volume happens so quickly.
yeah.
So I mean, is it more likely to be put down to a smaller amount of individuals putting a lot in then?
Yeah, so take a look at this. If we can visualize it. So look from about this point down, actually maybe this point down. So 2850 downwards, there is so much more volume on sells, right? Sells and shorts is actually what we're talking about, not necessarily sells, but shorts. And yet the buys, they really don't compare. and yet the price doesn't really move. It moved, so as far as the low, it was like $2,820. So about $27 in movement, even though well over double the amount of sells. So this is indicative of a large buyer sitting here absorbing all of these buys coming in, right? So there's big money sitting here, and as people are putting in shorts, feeling very, very bearish, right? He's getting filled and he's not buying. So what this is showing, these are market orders. So unlike like an order book on an exchange where you can see those are limit orders, the difference with exo charts is that these are market orders, and we don't usually get to visualize it in this way. So someone sitting here buy, and then the price continues to come up, and now we start seeing the flip. We see about 8.7, 4.9, 11 million, 14 million, 9 million, 6 million, right? And we start dwarfing all of these, and all of these shorts, they start getting liquidated up here. We're seeing as people take high leverage shorts season. Just not financial advice, but you got to be nuts. So yeah, so this is really to see this. There was a lot of support, and I guess it doesn't have to be one individual. It could be a lot of people finding an opportunity here. And I'll tell you, let's see, where did I need to look at a regular chart again. Hold on, and I'll switch over for the StreamYard thing. Just a second. So when you're watching it live, you can see if it's one individual. I'm having a hard time kind of determining like retroactively if it was one person or not. So let's go to the 12 hour. Yeah. So this is what we're talking about. This is where on the exo charts we had a lot of, because we're looking at the 12 hour. Yeah, we had a lot of sells come in here, a lot of shorts. And frankly, I was seeing this as a good opportunity. I saw it come back down, and it was at 27.61. I put in another buy order because I wanted to get that in. So like right there, I put in another buy order. So I mean, it's hard to say if it was one person kind of looking back, or if it was a group, or if it was just like a whole bunch of investors like myself that saw this and said, because I was waiting. I actually wanted to get. I still have on my books. I have a buy order here. I have a buy order here, and I have a buy order here. Okay, so I still have these orders, but when I saw this much resistance at like 27.55, I said, I think I'm just going to enter in a little bit more. And I still left this one here, left this one here, left this one here. But you know, clearly we found that bottom and we moved up. So let's talk about market structure again. Okay, it is kind of arbitrary in that what we're looking for is it's relative to the time frame, but there are definitions. So here, let me get this. Let me delete these. Okay, and I'll go back to this cursor. So with this, we would say that this is a lower low, and again, it's relative to the previous low, which would be this one here, right? Or you can even look at this one. So it's lower than the previous lows. And then we can see we put in a higher high, and then we put in a higher low. Now, this one is a little tricky because it's not higher compared to this, but it is higher compared to the last significant low. And so this is really, I would classify this as a higher low. And now obviously we have another higher high. So on the hourly, we are in an uptrend. Okay, we're trending upwards. As far as the market structure changing, where we put in a low, we put in a higher high, a higher low, and now another higher high. 1, 2, 3 points. We've had a change in market structure. If we look at it on the daily, let's look at the daily. We can speculate. We can speculate that this is a higher low, but we don't have confirmation yet. We really have to get to a significant level and we have to come back in. So I would say this, I would look at this as kind of the macro, and then I would look at this as a micro. So do we come up? Do we come down? And then do we come up again? And if we can get a confirmation of that change in market structure, then I would be confident in saying this is a change in market structure. And so we really have to try and remain objective. We don't want to get sucked into a bear trap or be like, oh, green candle, I'm going to buy it, right? It's great to see this because the speculation has been this is the area that we're finding support. That, we've been talking about it for a long time. We didn't get support up here like we were wanting to. Actually, it was 3,000, like up here like we wanted to. So when we're looking at our levels, to have a weekly level give us a big reaction, it's very near to the bottom of this parallel channel that's kind of ascending. I would say it's really likely, but I also think it's more likely that we test this again, that we come down to 2850, right? If we come down to 2850 and then we get a reaction and we go like this, I would say, cool. We have exactly what we needed to see. We got a reaction off of the weekly level. We put in a higher low, and now we can for sure say that we are in an uptrend. And these are definitions and helping us build an understanding. Again, it doesn't mean that it has to last forever. It doesn't mean that we're going to an all-time high or anything like that. All it is understanding the environment that we're in, and if we're in an uptrend, then we can be looking for compounding trades. We can be looking for longs. We can be looking for points of resistance, things like that. It helps us understand what we should be looking at. But anyways, does that make sense? And oh, here, I'm going to add Sebastian too. Sebastian, how's it going, buddy?
Hi, Cameron. Hi, Eric's guys. Yeah, good. How are you guys?
Doing very well. Yeah, doing very well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
good,
you did you guys hear the reason why it's pumping?
So I know that the Fed, supposedly it's the Fed, right?
Yeah.
The announcement.
Yeah. So that's half an hour ago or so, and that gave the boost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
you said, is it one? I guess there's a lot of people that are jumping in when there's news like that.
yes. So that definitely could be part of it. Well, obviously it is part of it. I'm not so. I would love to get your perspective. I think I'm kind of a perma bear when it comes to the Fed. I have a hard time being objective because I objectively dislike them. So
Sure. Yeah.
tell me what your thoughts are with their announcement.
The expectation was 100 points, and they only increased 50 points. So which is good for the market. So Wall Street went up, etc. So yeah, it's better news than expected. So markets go up.
Very good. Very good. From what I understand, it's going to be taking place in June. Is that right?
I don't know about timing.
Okay. Yeah. From what I heard, it was happening in June. If I was, frankly, I don't know if it's going to even happen. I'll say that much.
Mhm.
I don't. I think that when it comes to the Fed, they are running so low on options, and all they can do, they're a one-trick pony. They can lower interest rates, right? And the only reason why they raise interest rates, in my opinion, is so that they can lower them again, right? And the to me, when I saw this news and said, all right, we're going to raise interest rates, we're going to do it at 0.5 instead of 100, and we're going to do it in June, that speaks two things to me. One, I think it speaks that they think that the economy is really weak. They tried to get the market to price in a 100-point increase today. And then what they ended up delivering, at least speculation wise, right, is half of that in a month, right? And so now it's like, oh, this is better than we expected, and we priced in, 100 points, we only have 50. And I think when it comes down to it, they might do 0.25. So you know what, we actually, I think we want to take it a little bit easier. Obviously the market's responding well, so maybe we can do 0.25%. And it's like, because if they just came out, so if the economy was strong, they could just come out and say, hey, we're raising interest rates. That's what they would normally do. We're raising interest rates, and this is what we're doing, and it's done, right? But that's not what they're doing. They have to set a high expectation, get the market to price it in, deliver something lower, right? Just so that they can try to gain space, so that when the market does continue to have pain, they can reduce interest rates again, because they can't go to negative yet. They're not willing to go negative yet. And so anyway, that's my read on it. I mean, obviously the market's responding positively, but I think long term, I'm very bearish on the Fed's policies long term.
Yeah, I mean, increasing interest will hurt the market at least. So, yeah.
I think I think if I was, all right, so because it's a complex situation, and obviously I'm not, I mean, who am I, right? I'm doing YouTube, but when I'm looking at the Fed's policies, um, crypto to me is the hedge against what the Fed is doing. Crypto empowers the individuals, and the centralized fiat governance, it actually hurts the individuals. It would be like if we were to create a token and we just continually added to the supply, we just continually minted new tokens. Obviously, this is going to drive the value of each individual token down, but we're on the other side, we're deflationary, with List, with Kaiba. Oryx is up here from Kaiba. There's an automatic burn where we're taking tokens and we're destroying them, right? So we're inherently deflationary. With the policies that the Fed has run, I think it's a safe bet to bet against the incompetence of a select few that are in control. To think that there's no bias, that there's no corruption, that there's no whatever, I think is wishful thinking. And I think it's been demonstrated. I don't even think it's speculation at this point. So yeah, the Fed, they are not an independent body as far as I'm concerned. I think they're not just political, but I think that they're motivated by their own self-interest, and really they're one trick pony. They
It's
can lower interest rates, they can print money. That's all they can do.
it's a control mechanism. I mean, yeah, it's interesting that the Fed has this much influence on Ethereum, which is like a global thing, and Fed is US. I mean, it's kind of leading in the markets, I guess, US interest, but
Yeah, isn't it weird? Isn't it weird that
I think it's almost self-perpetuating in that people aren't actually using it as an indicator, but people think people may use it as an indicator, so they have buy orders and sell orders, depending on how they think people will react to the news.
yeah, it's a I mean, Cameron, is what you're doing. You're comparing how could others react, and this is a similar thing. Like, Fed is coming with good news. Okay, people might be more willing to buy. Okay, let's buy in. So it's another indicator.
That is an awesome point. It is. This is another indicator, and exactly right. And so this is where I have a hard time because I have such a strict dislike that I do. I need to look at it in the way that Sebastian, you're looking at it, as this is an indicator.
The Fed indicator.
The Fed indicator. No, because it really is true, and I do the same thing with the news. As soon as I hear the news, they start writing articles or they're doing stories about how Bitcoin, you're losing money and Bitcoin's so terrible and crypto whatever. I go, oh, I'm pretty bullish now, right? Or likewise when I see that we're at an all-time high and they're writing articles, oh, we will never go below 50,000. 40,000 is a thing of the past. I go, okay, it's time to probably start scaling out of my positions. Because it's
you hear the signs, right? So when people are denying.
Exactly. So here, I do want to do some technical analysis on what I'm seeing right here, which is so this right here, this is beautiful. Okay, if you have not bought into Ethereum yet, this is not financial advice, but let me tell you what I see when I look at this. I see this as an opportunity to buy at a lower level. This is called a single print candle. This is where we have a big leg up, and we're gonna flag, and we might move up again, or who knows, right? But what we have is this is typically going to be, excuse me, a level that gets retested and is a great entry point. So there was no price negotiation or very little price negotiation on this candle right here. And the market doesn't like that. So nature abhors a vacuum, right? This is kind of a vacuum. We just moved, right? And so whether it happens now, whether it happens in a few days, I would bet that right there, someone will have an opportunity to buy this at 28.75 or roughly near that, because this level will be tested and we will have some negotiations, and then we'll probably move up again. So this is how crypto works. If you are comfortable buying into Ethereum now, great. Don't feel like this. Never ever tell yourself this is my last opportunity. No, it's not. There's opportunities every day. Different tokens, different things. So, and look at this. We have a level right here, a daily level. Okay, so it would make all the sense in the world where you have this daily level, you have a single print candle to set a target for this range. It might be a couple days, but if you're looking at getting in, and I'm not telling anybody to do anything, this is just entertainment, right? I'm just drawing. It's just like a blank canvas. I don't want to get held responsible for someone's dumb decisions. But an opportunity like this absolutely could happen, where we come up, maybe we find some resistance at 3,000, we come back down, we test this, we fill this single print candle, and then we move on up. Absolutely high probability trade. Some of the other things that could happen, we're looking here, let me get rid of my circle, is that we do this this flag pattern. I don't know if they have a flag, I can't remember. Yeah, so let's do something like this. So like a bull flag, where we come in here and we kind of just ping pong back and forth, and it gets smaller and it gets smaller and it consolidates, and then we break up and we come back and back test and we move up, right? We probably move up. This is probably what happens. We hit 3,013-ish. We get some resistance. We might come around here and might break up, might stay on top and break back down to test this level. I think that's probably the most likely scenario. But who knows? We could just be on a massive run up. But typically, this is a very consistent way to trade. Those single print candles, they love getting filled every time, eventually. So don't feel like this is your only opportunity. I'm sure you'll have an opportunity to buy Ethereum under 2,900 again very, very soon. Yeah, so there we go. How's everyone doing? I don't know what to say at this point. I mean, I'm excited. I'm optimistic. We've been looking for a bottom here, and I hope we have. I hope we have it. I'm gonna just screenshot this because if it comes true, I love saying "I told you so." With this stuff, you almost have to. No one's gonna be like, "Oh, hey, remember when you made that call?" So, anyway.
No, I mean Cameron, I got involved with List and not knowing you so much yet. But now you start these classes, I really see like, hey, you love the charting, so it's such a cool combination to do this work, and I mean you really do what you're passionate about. So
I appreciate that. I do. I have a really fun time with it, and it's interesting, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
really
it
well
totally is.
structured as well. Start, middle, and end. Yeah, I love it. I just put a sell order in and a buy order in back at those levels. Well, one for later, one for now.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, so I'm hoping it comes true. I need someone to make my decisions for me because I'm tired of getting wrecked.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, I think I mean yeah, I mean, let's take a look. So this would be kind of like a rounded bottom. So this is a common thing that we see where we kind of come down with a lot more velocity, and then we really start to negotiate this, and we start to kind of trend, right? So it's like has this rounded kind of curvature. It's not so much like a down and out, you know. I think it was called a super V, right? After the COVID, the super V recovery. It's not so much like that. I think that we're probably going to have a more general rounded bottom, but so if that's the case, it's possible that we do revisit this range again. I'm still holding my buy entries there, but I don't think that that's the most likely. I think the most likely is we just continue to come down here and cannot, you know, and then we'll probably pick up more momentum and exit with more velocity. But down here in these ranges, it's kind of like a cup, you know, it's just a slow, like, are we sure? Are we sure we're all right? If you say so, all right, I guess we're going, you know. So we'll see. The market is interesting, and that's what is cool about the technical analysis and the trading is that it seems to work, you know, like there's some reasoning and you can put a story behind it, but yeah, every individual sell, every individual motivation are just people looking at things completely in their own way with their own things. You know, there's no indicator that that Oryx was going to be putting on a buy order because I enticed him to, and I hope it works out well, right? But there's no indicator for that. It's just people with free will making choices based off of the data and influence and who knows. But yet at the same time, with levels of precision, let me put this back on where we can see we're nearing a bottom, and then within $2.85 we hit this predetermined level. That's pretty incredible. How can something be so random and yet you can be so precise with it? Is that not amazing? I find it amazing. So
Yeah, you know, when things are so active and so many different inputs and outputs, it becomes like just an organic system, kind of. I mean, that's how the natural order of things is in so many things in life. It's kind of weird.
right. Yeah, it's a cool allegory for life in general. So it's cool. So this would be let's see. Wouldn't necessarily say that these are like rounded bottoms. I mean, there's a lot of consolidation, a lot of price negotiation, and then it just moved. this to me looks more rounded. Like I can just kind of see that it's more rounded. I could definitely see us coming down, but I think we're good. I think we're good. I think that this is our bottom that we're looking for. We've been waiting for it for a while. So I'm very optimistic and hopeful that we can put in a bottom and just move up. I will say the one thing, okay, this isn't to sow doubt, but we have to be objective, right? I believe, all right, let's pull this back. So is this a chart, by the way? Look at this. Is this a chart that you should feel bearish on? I mean, look at this chart. This is what, like, when I'm seeing these YouTubers, I'm seeing people and they're like, oh yeah, like the bear market, we're in a bear market. I'm like, look at where we're at. Look at this. Like two years ago, Ethereum was like $500. Actually, not even that. So September of 2020, Ethereum was like $400. $300. $350 just a couple years ago, and look at where we're at. We're at 29.50. Is this look bearish to you? Not to me.
Not at all, man. Like for like I don't know, about a year, kind of since the start, just before the start of last year's bull run, I've been saying that it's kind of going to go like charts. You're going to get higher highs and lower lows on crypto, but there's going to be so many downs when it stabilizes that people are going to think it's bearish. I mean, it's not a bull market or a bear market at the moment. It's just, yeah, it's just a strong market.
I think it's people that are like, hey, we're under 3,000 or around 3,000 and we should be back at 4, or we should always be going up. Like we need to get closer to Bitcoin. Like so, it's hanging around 3,000. So it's not. But you're more right. Like, hey, it's just stable. It's not bearish.
Right.
It's like leveling and waiting.
And it's not to say that we couldn't, right? So I can understand someone trying to forecast that maybe we would be going into a bearish thing. But I mean, when I pull back and I look at the chart, I see the market. It definitely doesn't look bearish. I mean, even, when we're talking about market structure, so this is the last significant kind of low. I mean, we haven't even come down to those levels. We've remained up here. And so just off of that, right? It's like a higher high, a higher low compared to previous lows, right? Another higher high, another higher low. Granted, eventually we could be in a bear market, or who knows, but as far as what I see, I'm like, I'm not a perma bear. I'm not a perma bull. I'm actually probably more inherently bearish just by nature, because I think I'm more skeptical. But I just objectively, I'm like, I don't think you can define this as bearish. I mean, yeah, we've gone down. We're not at an all-time high. I can understand that. Like, that's granted. But I mean, even this, like, low, high, low, high, low, right? I mean, it's pretty up still, despite some negative price action, recently. So yeah.
Some might say in the 6 months bull and bear cycle, we're kind of getting close to 6 months now. So should we still expect a new all-time high? Where do you think it's going over the next month or 2 months, if we can go that far?
Okay, great question. So this is, okay, you see this wick down here? Let me actually zoom in. Okay, we see this like pinprick, these wicks that are just so quick, right? These are called strong bottoms. So these are what I'm looking at. When we have a strong bottom, or you can have it with the top as well, where it's just, we see that price and then we're out of that price. We reverse course very, very quickly. It's really hard typically for these to be overcome. Obviously it happens, right? But when we see a rounded bottom like this, or a potentially rounded bottom like this, these are easier to take out down the road. So if we were to look at a bearish scenario, what I would be interested in is where we go in the next couple months. Again, we're not there yet, but we want to continue to have a keen eye for bearish opportunities. So if we say we come up here and we hit this, and then we come back down and we go lower than this right here, that would be a warning sign, right? I would be looking at potentially a new kind of bottom around here, and then we see, do we go higher than this last one up here, or do we, you know, kind of come back down again and we establish another downward trend? So this right here, where we're at right now, is so pivotal, right? So we can't define this as bearish. We can't define it as bearish yet, but depending on what it does, now if we come up here and we take and we challenge 4,000, I'm like, that's what I'm hoping for. Like the scenario I'm hoping for is that 4,000 gets challenged, right? And this would maintain a continued upward trend, a continued structure of an uptrend, right? The market structure would be very, very bullish. And we might, you know, come back down at some point to here, and then we move back up to challenge the all-time high. That's a very real possibility, especially if we look at how Elliott Waves could be playing out. Let me, where did they put them? Oh, right here. So Elliott Waves, they go on like the theory. So we would go from here to the first impulse, back down. We would come for a third wave, come back down for a fourth, and then come back down for, or come up for a fifth, right? So this is what I'm hoping happens, just because I want it to continue to be upwards, where we come up, we test 4,000, we come back down, and then we test the all-time high. From this point, we'll see. You know, we'll see how the market's going. But if we don't get this, and say we tap out, like I was saying, around here, and then come back down for another low, that would be a scenario where I would really start looking more bearish, right? I would say, okay, it's really hard for the market to maintain a bull run, like a true bull run, and then we would have to look at some levels where we would, let's draw some horizontals. We would say, okay, are we in like a range like this? Like, are we in this range and we're just going through kind of ping-ponging, you know, like this here, until we figure out if we want to go up or down? Possibly, right? The other thing is we have some points of control that we've mapped out before, where we could have a swing failure pattern, and I gotta take the magnet off. A swing failure pattern, as well as hitting a naked point of control. A swing failure is where you have a strong bottom like this, okay? There's a lot of people that are feeling pretty comfy at that price. If you bought here, you're feeling pretty comfy, right? 2,300. But a lot of those people could be over leveraged. And so something that happens that whales like to do is they like to put in their big buy order down here, try to get the price down, hit here, liquidate all these buyers, and fill their position at the same time, right? So we've talked about that before. So I would be looking, if we break 2,600, 26 is kind of my bottom. If we break 26, I've got my stop loss at 24, and I would be buying back in around 2250, trying again for a trade. And if we just break that and we just keep going lower, then I'm looking between 1,600 to 2,000. So anyway, we have to remain objective. I think that means right now, optimistic, bullish, trading with the market, which is an uptrend currently, as I would define it. But we need to find out where do we get resistance? Can we take 3,500? Can we challenge 4,000? If we can do those things, my optimism is going to be intact. So let's hope for a 4,000 challenge, because that would be fantastic. And why 4,000? That's a good question that I asked myself. Because of this, so we've been talking about. I gotta change this. I tried to not use this cross thing, so it looks cleaner, but I have to get precise. So this right here is our retracement. So it would be our golden pocket from the all-time high to this low, the yearly low. And so if we come up here, we could hit this and get rejected from it very, very easily. And this is approximately, like, the higher end of it is about 4,000. So that's kind of, so more specifically, the range I'm looking for is like 38 to 4,000, somewhere in there, right? I would want to get to that point so we could really claim a higher high and stuff like that. Likely it probably wouldn't hold. I think that we would continue to move back up. So that's what I would be thinking, or that is what I'm thinking. But if we can't even get to there, if we can't get to even 3750 or 3780 or 3800 for Ethereum, then we do have some concerns that we should probably start preparing for maybe a weaker market. So yeah, it's really important where we're at, but this is like, so to carry on with this, anytime, I mean, so for example, we were hoping for a bounce, we were hoping for a bounce in this area, right? Because we have our parallel channel. We have some key levels like, like our weekly level, right? So we were thinking, okay, this is probably a good area to find support. But there's going to be increased anxiety as you get closer, because it doesn't have to go too much further to invalidate your idea, to prove that you are wrong, right? And so in a way, it has to go lower to make your idea correct. But as you get there, when you approach the idea and you're $2.85 from it, right? Like on that weekly level, the anxiety increases, because even though you're the closer you get to being right, it almost seems like the probability of you being wrong also increases, because you don't have to go much further to, okay, now I'm wrong, right? So there's always this level, and when we have to manage our emotions, because there's always this level of like, shit, like, what if it just keeps going, that I'm totally wrong, right? And now I've lost money and all this stuff. So it's definitely a fun game to play. But anyway, I guess what I'm saying is, this is what we expected. Now we just need to see, are we going here? Are we going there? One is bearish, one is bullish. And we're at a pivotal moment. But I think this is still the most likely scenario. There's my ramblings. There we go. So, yeah, by the way, so if you're listening on Twitter, thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. There are links, so you can click on that pinned tweet on the Jumbotron, and there's the link to the YouTube channel, also the link to the StreamYard, so you can join us. Right now we've got Oryx, we've got Sebastian, they're in here having conversation. So that's something that you can do, because I'd love to talk to you. Or you can just come in and comment on YouTube, no problem. So let's see, we got some comments here. I'll show Sebastian's. So the Fed increased interest with 50 points, and this is less than expected, so this makes the market increase. Absolutely. 50-day EMA, 29.88. Hope we're testing it today. That is cool. Let's take a look. EMAs aren't often something that I look at. So let's see, what was the comment? So 29.88. Well, I think we probably got there, didn't we? We got pretty close. 29.65, so very, very close. I think I've got EMAs up here. No, let me add them. Okay, so 50-day, that's what we're looking at. All right. So let's load up some EMAs. All right, so all right, so I'm assuming that this red is the 20-day. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So this red is the 20-day. This is the average moving price, or the estimated moving average. Sorry. Let's do an arrow. Okay, so we took out the 20-day. Here is the 50-day, and then I think I have the 100 and the 200-day, right? So this, yeah, this could be dicey. I mean, realistically, if we take these and we move up, that's really, really good. That's really bullish, right? And a lot of people are going to see that. They're going to identify that as bullish. But if we come up and we get rejected from, you know, one of these levels, and we then put in lower lower lows, I think it's going to be a pretty big blow to the market. Again, like I said, I'm still not counting it down and out until like I've got a buy-in just above 2,600 that I'm leaving on the table. I've got my stop loss at 2,400. So like I'm still feeling pretty good. I'm still feeling pretty good even if we get rejected from these EMAs and we come down to a lower level, because I still think that there's possibility of finding our actual bottom here, especially if we come up and we're like going like this and we just have like a quick wick and then out like a strong bottom, a super V or whatever. I would be okay with that. I would definitely be okay with that, because we still have like the bottom of the channel that we can hit and move up, but eventually we have to conquer these EMAs. EMAs are great in finding a lot of investors. A lot of people use EMAs, and so it's definitely something that shouldn't be discounted. Again, I look at these not as like telling the future. They don't predict the future. They help you find investors, and definitely there are a lot of investors looking at EMAs. So very cool. We should keep an eye on that. All right. Well, I think that's about all that I have. Should we be, here's a question. This is what I'm thinking to myself. Should we be super optimistic right now? I feel optimistic. I feel really good. But I do want to point out, as far as what we've done, is it terribly significant? Not yet. Not yet. It's really good to be moving up here. It increases the likelihood that this is the bottom. Okay, we broke this this downward trend, this middle line. It's given us an awful lot of resistance, and we broke straight through that. We still have this to conquer, right? The top portion of the channel. Matter of fact, that's what we were supposed to be talking about. I forgot. I forgot we were talking about channels today. But we still have to conquer the top portion of the channel. We have to conquer the EMAs. I'm glad that was brought up, so you've got some confluences. You have some reasons to believe that there's you know, some resistance. We also had a daily level, did we not? We did. Yep. This is, Rupert, is this where you put your short in? Is that what you were telling me? Or Oryx? It's okay if you're not there. But yes, so there's a couple of levels here, some daily levels, the top of the channel, EMAs. There's a lot to overcome here. So I don't want to, here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to undercut what I'm excited about. What I'm excited about is I think the likelihood that we are finding that we've found a bottom. But this is probably why it's going to be a rounded bottom, because we're probably going to come up and it's going to be a fight, and we might come back down here and whatever, and eventually we break through, right, giving us this rounded bottom. So I think that that's probably the most likely scenario, is that we do have a rounded bottom, unless we, you know, lose this. We just come down, we break out, and then just break up. Oh, look at those squiggles. You know exactly what I'm doing when you got squiggles like this. Yeah, there's a lot to overcome. So as of right now, this is let me summarize. We're in a channel, we're heading to the top. We're also heading to a daily level of resistance, and we have to overcome the EMAs and the VWAP. I'll put the VWAP on there, where we literally touched the VWAP and then got rejected. That this is for the year. So there's a lot to overcome. I think we will. I think we're expecting to overcome it. And it's really good to see. It's good to see the fight. It's good to see the pushback. It's good to see us testing levels of resistance, right? That's what we want to see. We ultimately have to see how this plays out, as far as, do we hold this high? How much of a retracement do we get? Do we break below 2750 again? I think that's probably unlikely. Definitely can happen. Absolutely can happen. And then finally, once we break out, we clear the VWAP, this channel, the EMAs, the levels of horizontal resistance. Once we break out, do we finally test this level up here, or do we succumb to a lower level like 3,400? That would be terrible in my view. So that's it, guys. That's all I have. I'm really excited. We'll have to talk about channels more or on the next one, when we can get into it, because there's a strategy with trading channels, and yeah, so we'll get into that on the next video tomorrow. But that's what I have. I think the market analysis is pretty cool. So yeah, go ahead, Sebastian.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, it's a lot like out of the blue, in the moment analysis, just for what's happening, and hey, that's a nice thing. I mean, it's also what makes every day exciting again, because we can just look at the hey, what happened today chart. So yeah,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, thanks for being here. I want to talk about CryptoList real quick. CryptoList, we are very close to releasing the utility. We're polishing up the charts. Once the charts are made and ready to go, then we're releasing the platform. So we're very close to having this out. If you are interested in the utility of learning how to trade, if you want a better charting solution than DEX tools or CoinMarketCap, where you have security information as well as charts and market information, CryptoList is providing that solution. Also, we have a bounty system that not just people within CryptoList, but everybody that is listed on our platform, they get to participate in this bounty system, which allows a team to create specific tasks. And as people in their community complete these tasks, they earn crypto. So if you have other investments, other projects that you're tweeting about, following, sharing, talking about, whatever it is, we want to work with those communities, with those projects, and create these tasks so that you can get paid for the work that you're doing. So you get to earn crypto by doing things like retweets and following, subscribing, liking, commenting, all of these fun things. So if you haven't checked out cryptolist.com, please do so. We are in a great, I would say there's a great opportunity right now, as we are days away from releasing the utilities, as we continue to push our big marketing push, and we've got great support around us, great teams, great partners, and so we're very excited to see what we're able to do in this space. And yeah, so please check us out, cryptolist.com, and also the website will be cryptolist.io once that platform is released. So hopefully a household name sooner than later. Appreciate everybody. Thanks so much for joining and watching this stream, or listening to it on Twitter. And Also, thank you to Sebastian. Thank you, Oryx, for joining in and listening. Oh, we got Loco here. Hold on, Loco. I didn't see you, buddy. Can you take the mic?
Aye,
Hey
don't
there.
worry. Aye, it was quite entertaining and informative as always.
Well, thanks.
Yeah,
I
I'm
appreciate
wondering
you.
what's going to happen. It's this
Yes.
ascending channel and that weekly resistance. It just looks so tempting, you know. I think it. Well, I hope it doesn't go down to that point, you know, because that weekly resistance and that channel touch no far from where we are. Well, obviously lower. So yeah, I hope we're on the uptrend.
Agreed. Agreed. Absolutely. Do you have any insight off of the, like, because you made the comment about the 50-day EMA at 29.88? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, yeah. Well, it's just I know a lot of people trade using that. I use it, you know, just to add a bit more information. If I see, okay, 50, we've got 50 EMA, and then we've got maybe some resistance level and maybe RSI level. But I'm similar to you. I mean, these indicators, most of them are lagging indicators, so they are just telling us what was happening and not what's going to happen. So it's yeah, I'm a bit like you. I like the chart. I like to trade the patterns rather than this super duper fancy, you know, indicators that will show you, you know, some whatever information they show.
Yes, yes, I love it. I love that perspective. I think it's really good. And you're right. You know, these indicators are helpful in helping us understand market, what other people are looking at, and everything. But yeah, they are lagging indicators. They tell us what we already know, to a certain extent, right? They just help us visualize it. But yes, trading is not easy, and oftentimes anything, I can say with pretty good certainty, um, if something is given over as, oh, this is going to tell you for sure what the market's going to do, boy, if that was the case, why would you even be selling the software? Just go do it yourself. You could be trading. You could be making so much money. You know, there's just trading is hard. Trading is a sport. It's a competition. In a lot of ways, it's a zero-sum game. If you won, it's because someone else didn't. You know, so when we're looking at Ethereum and Bitcoin and stocks, I mean, it is the elite. You know, it's an elite space. People that have really got a lot of time and energy and money invested into learning this type of stuff. And I think the funnest thing is you spend all this money, you spend all this time, and then what your takeaway is that anyone can do whatever they want whenever they want. And you're like, oh, that was a very expensive lesson. but to an extent, I mean, I joke around, I kid. To an extent, that's very, very true. But there's enough people that are looking at data similarly, that are looking at indicators and levels and structures, right? That you can get probability in your favor. And this is something I'm super passionate about. I think that most people, I mean, you have to make sure that you have the right temperament. If you're a gambler, if you don't have very good discipline, it would be harder for you. But when you look at the right thing, like proper risk management, like what we teach, the 1% or less of your portfolio being exposed, never taking a trade that isn't at least 3 times the payoff than what you're risking. So if you're risking $100, you're going to make 300 if you win, right? If you can stick to these rules and learn this, so the probability is at least 50-50, which, by the way, flip a coin, it usually is as accurate. Okay. It is an amazing way to make money if you're disciplined, if you can control your emotions, because with proper risk management, you only need to win 3 out of 10 trades to remain profitable. 3 out of 10. But it's the gambling, it's the lack of discipline, it's the emotions, it's the fear, it's the greed, it's all of that. That is what is mastery, right? That is what you have to master. and the technical analysis, the charts, the guessing, all of that, that's helpful. It gives you an edge. It maybe makes it so you're 55% or you're 60% or 70%, more profitable, right? Or likely to win. But you only need to win 3 out of 10 trades to be profitable in this game if you can manage your emotions. And that is no easy task.
No, definitely not. And FOMO is a horrible thing, and I think we're all subject to it. Obviously to different extent. But it's as you said, it's training. It's mastering your mind. Is to me is the most difficult part of the whole trading. I mean, technical analysis you can learn. I mean, this is relatively straightforward, but how to conquer your desires and fears is it's a bit more challenging.
Yes, it is. And it's a slow process. I think what's that quote? People overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in 10 years or something like that. I may have butchered that, but basically, I've seen some numbers, some projections where if you had $500 and you were able to trade and make, I don't know, I can't remember what it was, like 1% profit on that, and you just did that for a straight year, that $500 would, with proper risk management and everything and reinvesting it, right, it would be, I think, $1.2 million, right? Why don't more people do it? Because honestly, it's not something everyone can do. It's not something that people. It's time, it's focus, it's self-control, and it is really hard. I mean, and it's not just trading. This is life in general. How many things could we do differently in our life? I'll tell you, I would have less of a gut if I had more discipline when it went to not eating so much sugar and getting to the gym. But look, I love sugar. I don't know what to do about it. So anyway, it's life. So yeah, it's fun.
And I'd say, even as you mentioned before, paper trading on TradingView, this is a brilliant starting point because you're getting that exposure to the charts, and I think the more time people spend with the charts, the more obvious things become to them. You don't need to. You look at the chart and then suddenly you see, oh right, is this again or that again, or that's what's more likely going to happen. So I find paper trading as a great tool.
Yeah, it's learning over time. It's I'm now, my first crypto was like almost a year ago now, and over time you learn so much. It really goes from experience to experience, and it's also these things. I've listened to most of the series now, and it just goes in a little, and it goes in a little, and it will make me more aware of the choices I make. So it's really helpful.
Yeah, and sorry, I think I may have been muted, but yeah, right here on TradingView, you just expand this panel, and you can see the paper trading right there. It's a big tool. You can test out new strategies. You can test out to see how well you understand it, how well your risk management is. That is the most important part, like I was saying just a minute ago. And so yeah, thank you for bringing up the paper trading, because if you're looking to get into this, and it doesn't even have to be day trading, there's a benefit if you're in micro caps or small caps to understand the market anyway, right? But yeah, if you're looking at investing or doing some trading, whether it's position trading like a long-term trade or something shorter term like a day or a week, do paper trading. Try it out. It's really cool. And you can see, all right, how well do I understand this, and how disciplined am I with sticking to my strategy, letting things play out, putting my stop losses in, you know? Um, so yeah, It's fun. I think tomorrow we're going to go over a strategy. I'll share my personal strategy on how I take a trade, because I actually do something I don't know most people if they do it. I trade to liquidation. And that sounds dumb, right? It's kind of like a joke. Like, I remember the first time I got liquidated. But I'll show you how I do it, because there's some things when you account for fees, you account for slippage, you account for different stuff. You might think that you're set up and I'm only going to lose $100 if I get stopped out. And you look and you lost 135. And you're like, what in the heck? How did that happen? And over time, that adds up. So anyway, tomorrow we'll talk about channels, how to trade channels, and then I'll also get into how I like to trade to liquidation, manage my exposure, manage my risk, because you can trade with, I mean, I don't want to tip my hand. There might be something coming down the road, but you can trade with a massive amount of money and yet only need, well, let me put it this way. If you had $100,000 that you're trading with and you were accepting a 0.5% risk per trade, the only amount of money that you need in your account is $500. $500, right? Now it's something we can get into, but it's not like you need $100,000 in your account. But you want to have proper risk management. We'll go over that tomorrow. I think it'll be fun. So I'm going to end it. I'm going to leave it here, unless there's anything else that anyone wants to voice.
No, all good. Good show.
Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Thanks for everyone that's watching, all the comments, Oryx, Sebastian, Loco Scotch for joining in. I appreciate you guys. And everyone on Twitter, thank you. And obviously you can join in, watch the live stream on YouTube. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow morning. I don't think we'll be postponing it. I don't think I have any meetings or anything early in the morning. I think we postponed this show 3 times this week. But tomorrow will be it'll be 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll see you then. All right. Bye, everybody.